Hey, Battle Bill, here with another video, getting some more Great League Remix battles with a submission from a fellow PvPer of the community by the name of Big Red Beast. And with his submission, we have a double counter team comp competing in some battles above the 2500 ELO range. So let's see how he's able to perform. Let's find the strengths and weaknesses of the team, and ideally everybody that's viewing at home or wherever you're watching this video at is able to perform and have success with this team, similar to Big Red, whether your elo is the same, above, or below. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video. So right now, Big Red's not in the best spot. His Golbat was lined up with a Steelix. He swapped it in, shields a Psychic Fangs, which is also super unfortunate, and his opponent matches his Scrafty with a Scrafty of their own. His defense is debuffed. At least he was able to get a pup off first, so his attack could be higher than his opponent's Scrafty's attack, but with his health at its current value, he is not going to be able to take out the opposing Scrafty, but the opponent seems to stop attacking because they'd rather get the farm on their Steelix. Pretty top tier play. Opponent has one last shield. He's going for the bait. Can he get the shield? No. Super unfortunate end game scenario. Really needed to either land a Shadow Ball there or get the opponent's last shield to get off the move. As you can see, he only had enough energy to throw a Poison Fang and a Shadow Ball, and depending on the ordering of how he threw, determined the outcome of the match. So unfortunately loses that game number one, but it comes down to a 50-50 coin flip. Getting into the next one, we have Shadow Golbat against Purified Golbat. Niantic said a long time ago that Purified Mons would do more damage against Shadow Mons. Nothing ever came out of that. Anyhow, I digress. Back into the match. He's able to get the opponent's shield on a Poison Fang, but unfortunately the opponent gets a shield on him with a Poison Fang of their own. He's going to throw a Shadow Ball, lands it, opponent does not commit, and then they come with Quagsire, so he pivots because of the fact that, you know, his back line still needs to be covered by his Golbat, wants to keep it healthy, and the opponent matches his Vigoroth pivot with a Vigoroth of their own. He's going to be able to get off another Body Slam, which is huge, and this will either get the opponent's last shield or take out their Vigoroth. It takes him out. The Quagsire is coming in. The Quagsire is going for the Mud Shot farm down, not going to be successful in doing so. Big Red's going to be able to get off another Body Slam, which is going to be huge, and this match is all but wrapped up. He comes with a Golbat so that the Quagsire can dump its energy on that. The Scrafty can now come in comfortably, counter all the way down, could also eat a couple Mud Bombs. Even though Mud Bomb was buffed this season, it's not doing much damage to our Scrafty here, and he's just going to let all of the Quagsire's energy get drained on the Scrafty, commit to the counter down, and pull off the win in match number 2. Getting into the next one, he's got a Golbat lead into a Talonflame. The opponent immediately pivots into a Steelix, Shadow Steelix at that. He matches with his Scrafty, and now it's going to be ramping up on pups. The Scrafty is going to be quite comfortable in this matchup, does have to potentially watch out for an Earthquake, so he's throwing up one of his shields, ends up being a Psychic Fangs bait, which is unfortunate, but able to counter down. Fully expecting the Talonflame to come in. Let's see what Big Red decides to do. He builds up to 2 foul plays, plans to probably throw them back to back instead of baiting, lands one of them, ends up throwing the other one right away, so the opposing Talonflame gets a free Incinerate through. The Talonflame is going to be able to counter down regardless. He's going to come back in with his Golbat. This could either be the Flame Charge or a Brave Bird. What does he decide to do? He decides to shield. It ends up being the Brave Bird, which is a huge shield, throws the Poison Fangs. Opponent comes in with a Carbink, and now that it's been debuffed a bit, Vigoroth probably has a better matchup here, even though the Vigoroth is down in a 1-0 shield scenario. He goes for a Body Slam bait. The opponent does not shield. A lot of failed baits here. Super unfortunate. Is he gonna be able to win this matchup with the Vigoroth? Carbink Power Gem doesn't have Rock Slide and Moonblast. Incorrect charge move, or at least not the preferred rock charge move by the Carbink, and he's able to throw a Body Slam there to take out the opposing Carbink. The opponent comes back in with their Talonflame. They use the last shield on the Body Slam. The Golbat comes in, farms down for the win. Getting to the next match, we've got a Shadow Golbat lead on the Dragonair. Is he going to stay in? Usually with ABB, if you're in what appears to be a neutral lead, you're going to want to swap out eventually, and that's what he's doing after he throws a Poison Fang. Dragonair is going to get off a Body Slam on his Vigoroth. He's going to tank it. Opponent then matches with a Scrafty, and this is exactly what he wants to lure out here, so he doesn't have to face the Scrafty mirror. And they most likely don't have another counter user in the back, so Big Red can come back in with his Golbat, go for a farm down, potentially use a shield in the foul play, decides to, ends up being a pup bait, super unfortunate, still gets the farm down at the very least, and then the opponent comes in with their Toxapex. So this is not a great matchup end game for Big Red, throws the Poison Fang, the opponent does not shield it, and he's going to commit to his Golbat. Honestly, Golbat has a pretty good matchup here. The problem is that the Golbat is at a huge shield disadvantage and a health disadvantage. Throws the next Poison Fang there and is able to get a shield, which is great. Comes in with the Scrafty after the opponent pivots into their Dragonair. They get off a Body Slam. He's able to counter the Dragonair all the way down. The Toxapex is back in. Scrafty gonna most likely go for back-to-back foul plays. Does the Golbat have enough energy in the back to potentially do the remaining damage to this Toxapex that is going to be needed? They throw a Sludge Wave, which is huge. He's going, he gets jabbed all the way down, and unfortunately just barely loses that match. Getting into the next one, we have Golbat on a Pidgeot lead. They're running Gust, which makes throwing your charge moves on timing a little bit more awkward. Typically, the preferred fast move on Pidgeot is Wing Attack, but Gust is not too much of a downgrade. The opponent ends up baiting with a Feather Dance, which is super unfortunate, but he's going to go for another Poison Fang to keep on debuffing the opposing Pidgeot's defense to match his attack that was debuffed. He then pivots into Vigoroth. Opponent must have had literally no answer to Vigoroth in the back, because then they top lefted and that match was over. Getting into the next one, we got a Golbat on a Roserade lead. Opponent save swaps into Steelix. Big Red's going to match the Steelix with his Vigoroth. Probably would have been a little bit better off matching with Scrafty here, just because Scrafty can deal nothing but super effective damage with the counters, with the pups, would have been completely stabbed. And now is unfortunately going to have to shield here after his bait was unsuccessful. A lot of unsuccessful baits by Big Red, but still having a lot of success with his team. Ends up leaving that situation with a boatload of energy for the Roserade that comes back in. Back-to-back Body Slams coming through. First one did half the Roserade's health. Next one takes out the Roserade. And the last mon is Steelix. Excadrill. Double steel grounds. Team comp there. I went to go press my stream deck because I had a nice sound set up, and as I pressed it, it disconnected immediately. That was awkward. Regardless, enjoy that disconnecting sound. Getting to the next matchup, we got Scrafty on Lapras alignment. I missed the lead completely. Big Red must have won it, though, to end up in a circumstance as positive as this. Going to throw a second pup that gets shielded. What could this charge move be? Even a Skull Bash doesn't take out Scrafty. Big Red decides to shield, though, to preserve his Scrafty due to the fact that if they're trying to commit a little bit in this situation, the backline is probably quite weak to the Scrafty. He's able to counter down. The lead mon comes in. Oh, it's Chestnaught. Yeah, that thing's getting absolutely obliterated by a Golbat. He's going to throw a boosted foul play here, which does more than half of the remaining health of the Chestnaught. The Chestnaught is forced to throw because Scrafty was about to get to a pup. They superpower, pivot into a Qwilfish. That is not the water poison type we were expecting to see here. Builds all the way up to the Shadow Ball for a bait. Ends up pulling off a successful bait. Finally, with his Poison Fang, staying in with the Golbat. Ooh, gets Ice Beamed. Huge Ice Beam by the opponent's Qwilfish. He's going to let this next charge move come through. This is all on Vigoroth. Will Vigoroth be able to clutch up after that huge Ice Beam from the Qwilfish landed on the Golbat? Let's find out. They land another Aqua Tail here. He builds up to 2 Body Slams, throwing the first one that will take out the Qwilfish's remaining health. The Chestnaught is practically dead because of how bad of a circumstance that it was in facing up against this team comp, and Vigoroth is able to clutch for the win. Getting into the next match, we got Golbat against Tapu Fini. Another good matchup for the Golbat because of the super effective poison damage it's going to be able to deal to the Tapu Fini, and the Tapu Fini for some reason is staying in. So this team must be insanely weak to poison. They're going for a charge move here, going to be Surf, shields it up. Opponent then decides to pivot into their Cresselia. Big Red's going to throw a Shadow Ball. It gets the opponent's remaining shield. He's staying in with his Golbat because this is still a very good matchup for it. Gonna shield up to preserve some of the Golbat's health. Even though Moonblast is resisted, it still would have taken out the Golbat's remaining health. Going for a Shadow Ball after an insane overfarm. Lands it. Bang. Pivot. Swap. Plays. Catch. Love to see it. Catch the Grass Knot on his Vigoroth. Able to counter down the Cresselia. Now, do they come back in with the Tapu Fini? They come in with a Shadow Machamp. It looks like Big Red is going for back-to-back body slams. Might have wanted to try and just go for the Bulldoze because he's not going to be able to make it. No, he wasn't going to make it to the Bulldoze either because he dies on that counter. Comes in with the Scrafty to eat a cross chop. Insane damage. Is Scrafty going to be able to close out this end game scenario? Time to find out. Throws a foul play, does just little, not enough damage to take out the Tapu Fini. They get off a Surf. Golbat's coming in for the wing attack, farm down. Just a barely able to hang on there to take out the Tapu Fini. Machamp comes in, has to eat this Poison Fang, and that is GG's. What a win by Golbat and Scrafty to combo that endgame scenario. Getting to this next match, we have a Shadow Golbat lead up against the Toxapex. Very good matchup for the Golbat. This is definitely the type of ABB scenario where you might not want to swap out of, but he decides to catches a Brine. That's huge because a Sludge Wave would have been painful on Vigoroth. The opponent then pivots into Scrafty, going to throw a Body Slam from his Vigoroth onto the Scrafty. Does a little bit less than half of the Scrafty's remaining health. A Pup is bound to be coming through here. Will the Vigoroth get to another Body Slam in time? Unfortunately not. The Scrafty is a little boosted, a little up in attack right now. Will it be able to land a boosted foul play onto the Golbat? It looks like it's going to, which is why Big Red's using one of his shields. Gets the wing attack down. Will the Toxapex come back in? Now the opponent essentially was able to flip switch. It's not. It ends up being a double, and Golbat has a pretty good matchup here, even with double having access to Wild Charge. So he seems to be staying in, letting the charge move come through. Will it be the Wild Charge? It is not. Throws another Poison Fang. Will this get a shield? Will this do a good chunk of the double's remaining health? It got the shield. The Toxapex comes back in, throws the Poison Fang, and now we need another Scrafty sweep in the end game. The Toxapex's health is quite low. Defense is lower also. Will he shield the potential Sludge Wave? Ends up shielding, ends up being a Brine. Super unfortunate. Commits the counter down. That is huge. The double comes back in, and he's going to be able to fire off charge moves. Might have been better just going for double foul plays here, but it doesn't really matter just based on the fact that Scrafty can eat some of the damage from double and its energy. Gets the final shield. Gonna commit to the counter down at this point, and its counters are boosted, ramped, ready to go. Opponent top lefts. Why are they running? Why?
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Getting to the next match, we got Golbat on Jellicent lead. They're going for a charge move. Will this be the Shadow Ball? Ends up being a Surf Bait. Super unfortunate. The opponent pivots into a Alolan Sandslash and essentially catches this move, especially because you don't really want to throw the Poison Fang onto an Alolan Sandslash with its double resisted steel typing. They're going to get off one charge move with their Air Slash. Big Red comes in with Scrafty, counters it all the way down. Absolutely decimated. The opponent will most likely, though, does not come back in with their lead mon. I already forgot what it was. It was the Jellicent, so they don't want to eat that dark damage on their ghost type. Gets a shield on the Shadow Charizard that came in, which is huge, but is unfortunately unable to get the foul play off the way that he wanted to. Builds up to another charge move on his Golbat, gets a Poison Fang off, almost does the remaining health on the Charizard, which is insane just to show how glassy Shadow Charizard can be. Comes in to match the Jellicent with Vigoroth. This is a very awkward matchup on both ends, just based on the fact that Jellicent resists all of Vigoroth's moves except for this neutral Bulldoze, and then Vigoroth double resists all of Jellicent's moves except for this Surf. Boom. So who's going to be able to apply more fast move damage or potentially bait or land their neutral moves on each other, gets a body slam off there, most likely wants to try and commit to the Vigoroth here, shield up, go for the counter down, or at least get an abundance of energy. No, the Jellicent is at 2 Surfs. Super unfortunate. Vigoroth's going to go down, but Golbat can come back in to try and farm, but their switch timer is up. The opponent gets off a Blast Burn, and we know how Shadow Blast Burn from Charizard be roasty toasting the opponents, and that is GG's for that final match. Big Red, thank you so much for the submission. If you watch the video, thank you so much. As always, let me know your thoughts on the team comp and on the battles. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Preach.